Is Christopher Gurrerro?
Correct.
Chris, you want to do Chris or Chris?
You can call me Chris.
What's up, everybody? This is Q. I'm here with Chris Gurrerro.
Hello, pleasure to meet you all. Oh, no, meet you, Ari. I mean, like, in a sense, I'm glad you're viewing me, but I can't see you, but I bet you're all lovely.
Yes. You might know him from Overlord, from One Piece, from Windbreakers, and various other roles.
Yes, and various. I'm like, what have I been again? I look at IMDb. I'm like, oh, I almost at 300 credits now?
300?
Yeah. I've been around in this business for a while now.
Okay. So I got a quick question for you.
Yeah, of course.
What got you into voice acting?
It was so weird. I never thought I would get into acting at all because in my youth, I was a big video gamer. I was in the nerd culture. So my aspiration in my youth was to be in the games industry, mainly as a video game programmer. I wanted to create the games that I loved, but there was one fatal part of that. To be a programmer in video games, you got to be good at math, and I wasn't very good at math. So it was mostly in high school that when you have to take a humanities class, so like art, acting, and so, but somehow I ended up in acting somehow, and so I'm like, okay, whatever, because in middle school I had a theater class, but I didn't do very well in it, and I didn't think my teacher liked me very much. So being in theater again, I thought I wasn't going to do well in it. And my teacher at the time said, hey, we're having auditions for the school play. And if you get a role, you get extra credit for the class. So I thought, well, I'm probably going to fail this class. So I'm going to try to get extra credit to get a passing grade. So I auditioned. I don't really expect to get a role in it. But not only did I get cast, I was cast as not as guard number 2, but as guard number 1. So I think I had maybe 3 more lines than the other guy. But the course of the process of rehearsing with people and making new friendship and bonding with people in this small tight-knit community, I fell in love with the process of acting. So from there, I just kept on auditioning for the next play and the next play and the next play. But while I was doing this, I was part of a website forum called, back in the day, it was more popular. I don't know if many people know it now. It was newgrounds.com, where people would post their flash animations and flash games. And there was a forum where I was a part of an RP thing where it's we pretend we're writing stories as if we're ninjas or whatever. And one of the guys from that forum was getting into sprite animation, so he's going to make a Mortal Kombat kind of sprite animation. He says, hey, is anyone interested in doing a voice? I was like, hey, I've been doing acting. I think it would be cool to do voice acting. So I go to Best Buy and I buy a super crappy $20 USB microphone. And then I record myself and listen to myself. And I was horrified. I was like, I sound like that? No way. Because it's kind of weird now, because how I talk right now is it's 1-to-1 how I'll hear myself over recording, but I don't know what it was back then, but it was how I hear myself in my head is not translating to how I'm hearing the playback. But also, back then, I had a lisp. So instead of businesses, I would say businesses. So as I was, and from, hearing myself record, it was a unique voice. I got some roles here and there online. And as I was doing the theater, that lent itself to the voice acting. The voice acting lent itself to the theater. And all the while, I'm trying to fix my speech impediment, because I never went to speech therapy. I went about it a weird way. I asked people, when you say this word, where do you place your tongue at? And then I would also watch television shows and movies, and I would watch very intently at their mouth. And when they said certain words, where they held their mouth and where their tongue was at, if it was open wide enough. So from there, I just kind of forcefully trained myself to get myself out of that. It might come out here and there ever so often, but it's no longer like an actual impediment. Like it doesn't affect me professionally. But yeah, from there I just from high school to college, I did more theater and started doing stuff around town, and with the voiceover. I was getting like more indie stuff that paid that I could put on a resume. And back in the day when it was Funimation, now it's all Crunchyroll, they held, you could submit like your acting resume and a demo if you had one. I did not have a demo because I didn't have a good enough microphone, but I did have a robust resume of theater work, some indie voiceover stuff, and some TV work, nothing like big, but it was mostly background stuff, but it's stuff that I could add on. And I submitted it, and maybe like almost a year later, I got called in for an open call, which is not like a specific audition for a show. No, actually, no. I did get called in for like a specific show to audition for. It was an anime called Level E. I auditioned. I didn't get anything, which was, I didn't, no skin off my teeth because that was like my first like professional like voiceover audition. And then maybe about a month or two later, I auditioned for an anime called Toriko, which I always kind of describe as Dragon Ball Z, but with food. Very macho men and like hunting for ingredients and cooking. And then I thought I totally bombed that audition. And maybe like a week later, it's like, hey, Chris, we need you for 3 hours for a Toriko session. I was like, really? Because usually sometimes, not so much these days, but you wouldn't find out who you would be voicing until you got into the booth. So I was like wondering, who the heck could I be? 3 hours is pretty substantial. So I come in, and the director of the show at the time, Tyler Walker, was like, so you're going to be the narrator of the show. And I said, the narrator? The guy who's in every episode? Yep. And I was like, okay. So obviously, being new to it, it's some growing pains, adapting to anime. Narrator doesn't have any lip flaps that you have to match to, but you have to be done by the time the Japanese is done. So you have to kind of timing. Yeah, you have to pace yourself to be out within, because be like, that was great, Chris, but that was like 2 seconds too long, so you need to get a little faster. The technology nowadays, we can maybe kind of squish it a bit or stretch it out, but if it's too much of a time thing, then you just have to redo it. But from there, I just got better at it, and God, it's because I started in like April of 2012. Yeah, I believe that was like my first ever session during, it was that month and year.
14 years.
Yeah, 14 years. I can't believe it. So they haven't kicked me out yet. So I think I've been doing pretty well. And so from there, I got better, and I was recommended by other directors to other directors, and I expanded my repertoire, and here I am. And I have a lot of freaks that I voice, because I voice a lot of weirdos and people with interesting personalities, and sometimes a regular Joe Schmo here and there, but mostly like freaks.
Well, speaking of that,
yes.
So let's talk about the One Piece.
The One Piece.
We talked about it earlier off camera before.
Yeah.
So I want people to know how you interviewed for that part, how you did that interview.
So getting the role of Moria, that was like my first like big like role. I think I'm trying to remember if I had Overlord first or if Moria was first, or it might have been at the same time I got those, but Moria was like my first ever like big villain, and I had been a fan of One Piece for like since middle school, because I've been reading it. And I've also done like One Piece sessions, but it was like, Wallace stuff, because it's like, you have a billion like Marines and like bad guys, so I come in and do group stuff and things like that. So
Marine number one.
Marine number, like it'd be like Marine 128 B out of like, because there'll be like 128B A through Z, depending on how many like extras you have. And so I asked Mike, hey, I see you're coming up on this arc. Do you think you're going to have like Mike McFarlane, who directed vast majority of One Piece at the time? I asked him, you're coming up on this arc. Are you going to have auditions for that? It's like, oh, yeah. I was going to call you in for that. So I was like, all right. So eventually the auditions do come, and back in the day how it went was you go in the front lobby and they have the binders, and then you open up, and because you want to get there like 20 minutes, have time to be able to just read over the lines. So and you typically you pick like 3 different characters to read for, and so I read for a character called Absalom, Dr. Hogback, and then our big bag Moria himself. So I go in, I audition, and then the last guy I audition for is Moria. And, I feel like I already know what I had in mind. I've been reading One Piece. I've been watching One Piece, so I knew what kind of, like, wacky voice they did in the Japanese. So, I was doing my best to replicate that. And the last line of the audition was his iconic laugh, since everyone in One Piece has, like, a unique laugh. So I've been reading it. I've been watching it. I've been in the fan. I was like, I know how to One Piece laugh. So I put it all on the line and go, and they kind of look up at me and they're like, very good. Well, thank you for your time. And so, I do my audition, and then I'm like, all right, well, I hope I hear something. So maybe a week or 2 later, I get called in. It's like, hey, we need to book you for like some time on One Piece. I think maybe it was like an hour or 2, since the arc was just beginning. But so I get in there and I'm talking with the engineer because Mike wasn't in there yet. So I'm talking with him. It's like, so am I this person or this person? Because I honestly thought I was going to book Absalom, because I'm mostly known for like rougher, gruffer kind of characters, which that character was. But the engineer was like, I'll let Mike let you know that one. So he comes in and Mike's like, well, Chris, you're the big bad villain of this arc. And I'm like, oh. I try not to, I'm not freaking out, but internally I'm like, oh my God. And then, I'm just a little nervous because like, oh gosh, I'm the villain of the arc, so I don't want to mess it up. But no, it went well because I knew what I was doing, and it was a good first session because it was like just the introductory episode of Moria, so there wasn't too much going on until when I came back. We had another batch, so many more hours to book. But yeah, that's how I booked Moria, and I think it was all because of that laugh.
The greatest laugh.
Well, great to some people. Some people's like, oh, I hate it every time, but I love you, but I hate to hear that laugh.
Yeah.
So which is understandable.
So with you being in so many anime, what is your big 3?
Wait, what?
Your big 3 of anime.
That I've been in, or just in general?
Your picks.
My picks. And I don't have to be in them.
No. Your own personal opinion now. Don't go by.
No. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to go in my catalog of classics. Generation, if you need a good, like, the go-to is usually Cowboy Bebop, which is something you need to watch, but, like, for a different flavor, Outlaw Star. I feel like that's kind of falling out of fashion. The kids these days probably wouldn't know, but Outlaw Star. Give the classics a watch. Another one. I'm thinking of Nichijou. Not too old, but it's a very good comedic anime, because I feel like we don't get a lot of good gag animes these days, which is funny because we actually got a kind of sequel to Nichijou. It was another work by the same mangaka and the same studio called City the Animation, which is newer. But I highly recommend checking out Nichijou. And, third, I got to think of a good one. If you can find it, it's kind of like a psychedelic, weird anime called Kaiba. And it's basically a kind of an alien futuristic world where you can literally extract your memories, and you can take out bad memories and like insert like false memories or other people's memories, or you can take your memories and insert it into a new body. So it's very weird, psychedelic, and visuals. And I think you can find it on streaming, but it's trying to remember. It's by the man who funded the animation studio Science Saru, who have currently like their big ones right now is like Dan. They're making the new Ghost in the Shell that's closer to the manga. But those would be my 3 anime to check out.
Gotcha. Do you have any advice for people who want to be voice acting?
One of the big things that when you get into the world of acting, most 90% of the job of acting is auditioning, because you're going to book maybe like 10%, or if it maybe 12% of the jobs you audition for, and that's really good. But you must be prepared for not booking the gig or rejection, because a lot of people, especially in a newer circle of actors, like, they might want to ask, like, hey, could you give my audition a critique to whoever's casting, but not depending on like if it's like a small indie thing or like a big, they can't give each individual person like a critique of their audition when they get like 300 auditions. So sometimes it's nebulous, so you might not know what you did wrong, or you probably did nothing wrong at all. You just weren't the right fit for the job. That's why I always suggest, even if you don't want to do theater, maybe take like a community theater class just to get the basics, the foundations of acting down, script analysis, and work on your voice, because once you get like a stage voice, you know how to project it, you know how to like control the levels of your speaking. And also, you might also, doing theater, learn accent work as well. But it's just like, be ready to be recording a lot and just throwing it into like a black hole and hoping that something comes back. But find the joy in just auditioning itself. Always consider it you're there to have fun. Show them what you can bring to the table. Because at the end of the day, hey, if you're not enjoying it, then what are you doing? But that would be my advice: is be ready to just kind of throw like a million darts until you hit a bullseye, and to get the foundations of acting. But also, nowadays, many voice actors host like Zoom classes and things like that, so you don't necessarily have to do theater work. But I think that's a good place to start from, because it's instead of like 3 classes over the course of 3 weeks, you have like at least, you go to a community college, you got 3 classes a week for like at least 3 months, so you get way more in depth with it.
So nothing quick, just something that actually takes time to teach you.
Yes. It is definitely a process. And you know what? Everybody's journey is different. Some people will lock in, or like get used to it faster than others. But it's all about practice and consistency.
All right. Last thing. Do you have anything that you can promote, or you can say to end this off with?
Promoting.
Yes, you can.
Oh yes. Currently, Freerun season 2. I'm back as Aizen. We just finished our season, but still, Gachi Akira still brand new, and season 2 hopefully this year. And we're getting a video game as well, an action RPG. And anything else? Not as known as, it's pretty getting popular, but Windbreaker, another favorite. If you didn't like Tokyo Revengers, try this one.
The way you said that. But see, I saw the first episode, the first part, when he hit the guy so hard he got his toes off.
Yeah.
So I gotta find it though in dub, because my short attention span, I can't do so.
No worries. Yeah, we got 2 full seasons dubbed, and we are guaranteed a 3rd season. Okay. So get the Windbreaker on, and I mean the jacket, not the other way of meaning that.
All right. Thank you so much for the interview.
Of course, thank you. Appreciate your time.
And thank y'all for watching.
Yes, appreciate y'all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next